Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Just thought I'd return to you for an outside video on my phone this time. Hopefully the sound quality works on this one because with the laptop it's been acting up lately. So it's been lagging because of the Ethernet cable or something like that. But I'm returning to you for Smash Into Pieces' new album ARMAHEAVEN. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this new album for this review that I'm doing for you guys tonight. And I'll let you know my thoughts on this Smash Into Pieces ARMAHEAVEN album as a whole. So let's dive into the 15 songs I've listened to on this record. So it starts with Neo Future, which is a pretty good song. It's only a minute and 55 seconds of a track, and it works very well with just the intro to it of going into the next song, Villain. So it's a 5 out of 5 for sure. I like the production in this track. It's pretty well done. And overall, the flow to this track did very well. So 5 out of 5. So the next track is Villain. This one was alright. I wasn't feeling for the chorus all that much, but the verses were pretty good. They flowed very well. So 4.75 out of 5 for this track. It's solid. It's pretty safe and pretty good in its own way, but I do have a few critiques with this track. Broken Halo is the next track, and it's one of my favorite songs as of now. I know it came out earlier this year, but it is a very good song. I think the production in it's pretty good. I think Chris's singing vocals are very strong in this, and overall, the scream moment at the end of the song is pretty solid. But majority of the track did very well. Music video is pretty cool too. So yeah, 5 out of 5 for Broken Halo. Paradise featuring Liz Rid. This one is solid. I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. Nothing terrible, but not like one of my favorite tracks on the record. It is the least favorite, but it's still pretty good for how it sounds. I mean, the vocals are pretty solid from Chris and Liz Rid. So it's pretty good in its own way. It plays it safe. So 4.75 out of 5. Maze of Fools is the next track, and it's another pretty safe track. I mean, the chorus is not like special or anything, but the verses are pretty good. The chorus is solid, but it's not like the best chorus I've listened to. So 4.75 out of 5. Hurricane is a very strong track. I really enjoyed this track. When it first came out in November last year, it was very good and still holds up very well. So, granted, they dropped a lot of singles for this record. A lot of singles. It's probably about half the album or something like that. But overall, Hurricane is a very good song. I like the scream bridge from Chris at the bridge part of the song, at the middle of the song. And overall, the chorus is really catchy too. So 5 out of 5 for Hurricane. Rage is another pretty good one. The electronics in it work very well for this one. And overall, with the execution, I did dig this song for how it sounded. So Chris's vocals are very strong. The guitar work and drum work and the production with the electronics do very well. And it's mixed very well, so 5 out of 5. Wildfire is another good one that I enjoyed. It was a single that came out last year, but it is a pretty strong track for 3.5 minutes. You're in for quite an interesting melody, interesting listen, and it overall flows very well. So 5 out of 5 for Wildfire by Smash Into Pieces. A very good song that I personally enjoyed. For 3.5 minutes, you're in for quite a bop and something to enjoy. Then comes Manor Machine, which is probably my personal favorite track on this record, and it still holds up very well. It is a regular song on the record, and it's something I can return to a lot. It is a personal favorite track off this record, so 5 out of 5 for Manor Machine. Flame featuring Liamo is actually Liamo's song, but I think Smash Into Pieces wanted to put this on their record, ARMAHEAVEN, and it overall still holds up very well. I like the vocals from Liamo and Chris in this track, though it does very well. It was mixed very well. The production of the electronics do very well, and I really enjoyed the harmonizing with their vocals on this track. 5 out of 5. Devil in My Head's another good one. Wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this one at first, but I do dig it for how it sounds. So yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 for sure. Really enjoyed this track from start to finish. The electronics with the guitar work do very well, and the drumming's pretty cool in this track too. So great song, 5 out of 5. First Time featuring Luluco is a very good one that I enjoyed. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this at first, but I do dig it for how it sounds, so it's another great track and something to enjoy. So a 5 out of 5. Not a very long song, but very good in its own way. The Sky Full of Stars was another least favorite from the record, but it overall is pretty solid for how it sounds. Nice track for how it's sounding with Chris's vocals. Nice melody and everything, and it does very well for the execution. So another 4.75 out of 5. Granted, I have a few critiques with this track with how it's sounding, but it's not terrible in any way. So it's getting a 4.75 out of 5. Still a pretty safe song, but it is the least favorite for me, in my opinion. It will bring down the rating a little bit, but not to the point where this record is terrible. Some Kind of Heaven is kind of the last track on the record, technically, before you get to Prophecy, which is the outro to the record. And then overall, Some Kind of Heaven is a very good one too. Chris's vocals really shine in this track, and it did very well for how it sounded. So 5 out of 5 for this one. I really enjoyed Some Kind of Heaven. Pretty strong track to kind of close this record out before you get to the outro of the record. 5 out of 5 for Some Kind of Heaven. Then we get to the closing track, Prophecy. And for My Avail, it is a solid track. It's not like my go-to kind of track. It's an outro track, but it plays it safe and does it very well in its own way. So 4.75 out of 5 for Prophecy. It's just mentioning the intro of the track and all that with the lyrics from Villain, I think. But it overall is solid enough. 4.75 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Smash Into Pieces ARMAHEAVEN is a pretty good record. It's better than Ghost Code, for sure. Ghost Code was kind of average, but this one did a lot better for the execution. A great follow-up, a pretty good follow-up, and I enjoyed this listen. For 46.5 minutes, you're in for a pretty good listen. So, another strong record to be on my best albums of 2025. And if I were to give Smash Into Pieces ARMAHEAVEN a score, I'm giving it a very strong 8.5 out of 10. A pretty good record, definitely worthy to check out for this Friday's releases for October 31st. Which, happy Halloween, by the way, everyone. But overall, I think they did a good job on this record. Great follow-up to Ghost Code, even though Ghost Code had a few good songs on their record, on their last record, which came out a year and a half ago, keep in mind. And overall, I think they pulled it off for this release. So, yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for Ghosts or ARMAHEAVEN. I almost said Ghost Code for a second. So yeah, it's a great follow-up to Ghost Code, even though Ghost Code wasn't my favorite. Had a few bumps in the road on that record, but nothing terrible. Trigger was my favorite one off that record. There were a few other ones I enjoyed, but I think this one had a lot more electronics, a lot more interesting tracks on this record that I can personally come back to, and I really dig this record. 8.5 out of 10 for Smashed Into Pieces Armaheaven. Thank you guys for watching this album review tonight. I'm going to be going to bed, but until then, I will see you in my next review.